All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to build a complete financial plan, literally from the ground up. And we'll use this really simple but super powerful model, the financial pyramid, to guide us. We'll start with our daily mindset and go all the way to securing a lasting legacy.
It's a question that pretty much all of us ask at some point. What's the secret? Is it about just earning more money? Getting a lucky break? Or is there actually a system, kind of like a blueprint we can follow? Well, the answer really lies in building a strong foundation, one level at a time.
And that's exactly where we need to begin. This quote from Warren Buffett gives us a clue that's a little counterintuitive. Financial success isn't just about what you do, but maybe, just maybe, it's more about the things you choose not to do. This mindset, it's the absolute bedrock of our entire pyramid.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with that all-important mindset, then we'll build a practical base. After that, we'll move on to strategies for growing that wealth, figure out what to do after you hit those major goals, and finally, we'll tackle the very top of the pyramid, securing your legacy. The cool part is, each level builds directly on the one right before it.
Let's dive in at the bottom. Before a single dollar is ever saved or invested, it all starts right here, in your head. The millionaire mindset isn't about fancy cars and extravagance. Nope, it's all about discipline and focus. This is the big idea right here. The wealthy actively steer clear of common, destructive financial habits. They learn to say no to impulse buys. They say no to keeping up with the Joneses. And they definitely say no to making financial decisions based on fear or greed. It's that intentional avoidance that really creates the space for wealth to grow. Okay, so with the right mindset locked in, we can move up to the next level. This is all about turning that way of thinking into practical, everyday actions. This is where we start laying the actual bricks of our financial house. And for this part, we're going to use Eric Tyson's classic, Personal Finance for Dummies, as our guide. It's fantastic because it breaks down these really complex topics into simple, actionable steps, which is exactly what we need for this foundational layer. Now, Tyson lays out a ton of key habits, but these three are the big ones. They're totally non-negotiable. First, live within your means, which really means you have to stop playing the comparison game. Second, you've got to make saving and investing automatic, a system. And third, treat credit like a tool for building wealth, like buying a house, not for funding a lifestyle you can't actually afford. You put these three together and you create real financial stability. That 5 to 10% number is so important because it gives you a specific, concrete target. It takes that vague idea of, I should save money, and turns it into a real, actionable step. Systematically setting this amount aside with every single paycheck is how you actively build your financial future. It's powerful stuff. All right, so you've got a solid base, and you're saving consistently. Now it's time for the next level, and this is the exciting part, making that money work for you. This is the growth engine of your entire financial pyramid. Eric Tyson makes a really clear distinction here. For long-term growth, you want to focus on assets that appreciate in value, things like stocks, real estate, or even starting your own business. Now, while safer options like bonds or savings accounts have their place, they often struggle to beat inflation and taxes over time. And what that means is you could actually be losing purchasing power. This gets to one of the hardest parts of investing, managing your own emotions. When the market takes a dip, our gut reaction is almost always to panic and sell. Tyson's advice here couldn't be clearer. You have to ignore the noise. Your investment decisions should be based on your long-term goals, not on knee-jerk reactions to scary news headlines.
So, let's say you've followed the plan, you've built your base, your wealth is growing, and you start hitting some major financial milestones. That's awesome. But what happens after you reach a huge goal? It's a really practical question that catches a lot of people by surprise, and we found a great discussion about this very thing.
This is just a fantastic real-world example from a Reddit thread. Imagine this. You've just made your final mortgage payment. It is a huge achievement. But after the celebration is over, a very practical question comes up. What do you actually need to do now?
The community came up with a fantastic checklist. First, you've got to get all the official paperwork, like the release of lien, and make sure it's actually filed with the county. Then, you have to notify your insurance company, cancel those automatic payments, and, this is a big one, you have to start paying your property taxes and insurance yourself since they're not in escrow anymore. Oh man, this user's advice just hits the nail on the head. It's all about maintaining your momentum. Think about it. You've spent years, maybe decades, with that payment in your budget. Instead of just letting that extra cash disappear into daily spending, you immediately redirect that old mortgage payment toward your next big financial goal.
And that brings us to the very top. We've made it. This is all about thinking beyond your own lifetime. It's about making sure the wealth you've worked so hard to build is protected and passed on exactly according to your wishes. It's about creating a lasting legacy.
I know estate planning can sound really complicated and a little intimidating, but this definition from RTR Law breaks it down so simply. Just think of it as a set of instructions. It tells your family what to do with your assets when you're gone, and it helps guide them in making decisions for you if you ever become unable to.
This table really helps demystify the whole thing by showing it's not just one giant, scary document, but a collection of specific tools. A will directs where your assets go. A trust can help manage them and reduce legal hassles. A power of attorney covers financial decisions if you're incapacitated, and medical directives state your wishes for your healthcare. See? Each has its own job.
And this list highlights where people so often go wrong. An estate plan is not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of thing. It has to be updated after major life events like a marriage or a new baby. Forgetting your digital assets or failing to plan for what happens if you can't make decisions for yourself, these are other huge errors. And finally, using a generic online form instead of getting personalized advice can be a massive pitfall. So, as we wrap things up, it really all comes back to this one idea. Each level of the pyramid supports the one above it. A weak mindset is going to undermine your saving habits. Poor saving habits mean you'll have nothing to invest. And without building wealth, well, there's no legacy to plan for. It is all connected.
And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. Building wealth for yourself is an incredible achievement. It really is. But building a financial structure that provides security for you, for your family, and maybe even for generations to come, now that's a true legacy. Thanks for watching.